A poor, innocent girl's heartwarming act saves a lost elderly man in the rain, but the millionaire who watched has other ideas. The rain pounded on the pavement like 1,000 angry drummer boys, turning the streets of Willow Creek into a maze of puddles. Most kids in town would be cozied up indoors, lost in video games or binge-watching their favorite shows. But not Lily. With her hair sticking to her forehead and her clothes drenched, she pushed through the downpour, hurrying to the community center where her heart swelled with purpose. Just as she rounded the corner, she spotted Mr. Thompson, the sweet but disoriented elderly veteran, shuffling around under the relentless rain, clearly lost and afraid. "Mr. Thompson!" she shouted, but her voice was drowned out by the storm. Her heart tightened, sensing the sheer misery in his eyes. Without thinking twice, she sprinted over, her heart pounding along with the rain, and wrapped her rain-soaked coat around him. "Come on, let us get you inside," she urged, her voice firm yet gentle. As she led him to safety, the storm felt like a distant memory. Inside the community center, they found a cozy nook away from the chaos. Mr. Thompson smiled, his eyes crinkling at the corners, and for a moment, the weight of his loneliness lifted. "Thank you, Lily," he whispered, his voice a quaver of gratitude. "You remind me of my wife. She had a heart like yours." A warmth filled Lily's chest, and she nodded, eager to hear more of his tales, stories from a time when the world felt simpler, his voice weaving through the memories like fine thread. They shared laughter and poignant silences, two souls connecting across generations even as storm clouds roiled outside. Unbeknownst to them, behind the glassy facade of Willow Creek Bank, Jonathan Finch, the town's wealthiest man, leaned against the wall, arms crossed, watching their interaction unfold. "What nonsense," he muttered, a sneer tugging at his lips, dismissing the act as just a poor girl's futile attempt to make her mark. To him, Lily was just another statistic, a girl wrapped in tattered dreams and rain, not worthy of real compassion or respect. But little did he know that their moment together would spark something far greater. News of Lily's kindness spread through the town like wildfire, igniting conversations about compassion, class, and community. Local reporters flocked to the center, eager to capture the poignant story. Lost family, Mr. Thompson, and girls saving the day. The headlines transformed into a narrative that rocked the very foundations of their sleepy town. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. As Lily stepped back from the whirlwind of media attention, she had no idea she was stirring up a storm of resistance. People debated, pointing fingers, with wealthy families wringing their hands, grappling with their privilege. Meanwhile, Lily became a reluctant beacon of hope, her bravery igniting change but also drawing fire from those who couldn't fathom a world divided by wealth and empathy. In the thick of the growing chaos, a powerful moment awaited. Mr. Thompson's daughter, the very woman he'd searched for all these years, finally stepped into the community center, her eyes glistening with uncertainty and regret. As the storm outside began to calm, the storm within the town was only just beginning, and Lily stood at the heart of it all, poised between hope and turmoil, a bridge connecting worlds apart. Would reconciliation follow, or would the shadows of the past loom larger than their dreams? Our who watched is unraveled by secrets. As the door to the community center creaked open, the muted chatter inside halted. All eyes turned toward the newcomer, a middle-aged woman whose presence was as striking as the storm clouds that lingered outside. Lily felt her heart race. This was no ordinary visitor. The unmistakable resemblance to Mr. Thompson was undeniable. The woman's features mirrored those of the old man, and the air thickened with anticipation. "Dad?" she said, her voice barely above a whisper. Instinctively, Mr. Thompson straightened, his frail hands trembling as he squinted through the dim light towards the voice that had been a ghost in his memory for far too long. "Marie?" he exclaimed, disbelief flooding his face. mixing with joy and confusion. Tears pooled in her eyes, and she stepped forward, hesitant yet hopeful, as if fearing that the moment might evaporate. Lily's heart soared watching their reunion. It felt like a scene pulled from a fairy tale. Yet, happiness was snatched away as memories of their shared silence echoed in the room. For so many years, they had been worlds apart. Now they were face to face, and the room charged with an electric mix of joy and the weight of unspoken words. "I've searched for you," Mr. Thompson said, voice quivering. "I thought I'd lost you forever." Marie faltered, caught between longing and regret. "I didn't know how to find you. There were things, complicated things." "What things?" "My life was incomplete without you," he countered, frustration mingling with sorrow. The room felt heavy with unprocessed grief, the sunken faces of the townspeople pale witnesses to this unfolding drama, their breaths held tight. Lily moved closer, drawn to their emotional tide, sensing the power of their unspoken history. "You're both back together now. That's what matters," she interjected gently, hoping to ease the palpable tension. Mr. Thompson turned to her, his expression softening. "Thank you, dear girl," he said, his voice rich with gratitude. Yet Marie did not appear relieved, a shadow of doubt still darkening her features. "Maybe it's too late, Dad. I've changed." Her voice faltered, unable to finish the thought. "Changed how?" he pressed, but the dam seemed ready to burst within her. The hopeful reunion suddenly felt precarious, poised on the edge of a truth that threatened to shatter the fragile moment. Across the room, Jonathan Finch's eyes narrowed as he observed the. He shifted uneasily, arms still crossed, but now turmoil surged within him. Having seen the story from the outside, he felt a stirring of conscience, questions he had long buried stirred in his chest. "People care. Just look at this," he finally muttered, breaking his silence. Observers shifted their gazes toward him, raising eyebrows in surprise. "You think that the wealth protects you from loss? That love can be bought?" Lily turned, surprised to see a flicker of something deeper in Jonathan's eyes. Could this man, so consumed by status, find the courage to confront his own heart? Facing each other, the past and present, love and regret, Mr. Thompson and Marie found themselves trapped in memories as the townspeople buzzed with whispers. The reconnecting threads held promises of healing, and yet, undeniable shadows lurked in the corners of the room. The tale had morphed into something far beyond Lily's initial act of kindness, reaching into the soul of Willow Creek itself. She looked around, sensing the growing tension. Would they find common ground, or would the pain of the past crack open new divides? As the room held its breath, one question loomed large: could they break through the wounds that had kept them apart all these years? Or would the storm outside pale in comparison to the tempest brewing within the heart of their families? The silence lingered like a heavy fog as Mr. Thompson and Marie locked eyes, emotions swirling around them. The townspeople, witnessing the moment unfold, began to murmur amongst themselves. An unsteady hand reached up to wipe away tears from Marie's cheeks, but her gaze remained fixed on her father, lost in thought, swallowed by years of isolation. "I should have come back sooner," she whispered, the words barely escaping her lips. I thought you were better off without me." Mr. Thompson's face fell at the implication. "Better off? How could I be when every day without you was like a piece of my heart missing?" His voice broke, revealing the depth of his pain. The crowd was now fully engaged, the air electric with anticipation and disbelief. Some swapped glances, waiting for Lily to say something to mend the burgeoning tension, while others leaned in, desperate to hear every word. "I was young and scared. I didn't know how to. I didn't know what to do," Marie continued, her voice gaining strength. "I regret not fighting harder to find you." "Maybe we can work on that," Mr. Thompson suggested gently, his eyes searching hers. "Maybe we can create something new from the ashes of the past." But Marie stepped back, the weight of years hung between them. "But it won't be the same. Can we really go back? Can we just forget?" The question hung in the air like the storm outside, electric and overwhelming. Each person in the community center felt the pulse of the moment, caught in the web of their own memories of loss and love. Jonathan shifted his weight, his earlier statement weighing heavily on him. Was he really the man he wanted everyone to believe? The wealth he flaunted, didn't he save him from the emptiness of his own heart? We can't change the past, he said more forcefully than he intended. But you can change what it means for the future. Lily caught Jonathan's eye, sensing his internal struggles were mirroring the situation unfolding before all of them. Maybe it starts right here, right now. You have a chance to redefine what family means, she interjected, her heart racing. It's never too late to repair what was lost. The murmurs of agreement rippled through the crowd, folding in warmth and acceptance. Hope seemed to stretch over the darkness like sunlight breaking through clouds, calling out for them to stand together. Mr. Thompson placed a fatherly hand on Marie's shoulder, drawing her attention. We start by saying it out loud. Let us face it together. I'm still here, and I want to know you, all of you. With tears shimmering at the edges of her eyes, Marie finally nodded, a tentative smile breaking through. Maybe we could, she said, her voice quavering with hope. Suddenly, a loud crack of thunder echoed outside, shattering the delicate moment. The lights flickered for a heartbeat, plunging the room into temporary darkness. Gasps echoed as everyone instinctively sought security in each other. Lily, still close by, looked at Mr. Thompson and Marie, sensing a chance for something more. Together we can weather any storm, she said determinedly. But as the lights flickered back on, and the warmth of the room returned, the door to the community center swung open once more. A figure stood against the rain, another flash of lightning illuminating the doorway. Lily's breath caught in her throat, and the excitement turned to dread. Who was it this time? What new secrets might come flooding out? Would this presence help them find healing, or would it stoke the fires of their unresolved pain even further? The figure in the doorway stepped forward, drenched and trembling. Just as the crowd's tension peaked, recognition flickered across Mr. Thompson's face. It's him, he murmured, barely audible over the sound of the storm. The murmur spread through the crowd like wildfire, eyes darting back and forth as they processed the unexpected intrusion. The stranger was an older man, his hair plastered to his forehead, face worn but weary in a way that suggested he'd carried burdens far greater than the storm outside. Charlie! Mr. Thompson exclaimed, rushing forward with urgency. What are you doing here? The old man looked lost, shivering as if the rain had seeped into his very bones. I was looking for you, he stammered, his voice barely rising above the roar of the rain. Marie felt her heart constrict. What kind of urgency made someone brave the storm? What had passed between them that brought Charlie here now? Dad, she urged, fear creeping into her words, what's this about? Charlie took a deep breath, the kind of breath that holds 1,000 stories. I couldn't let you face this alone, Thompson, he said, his words slicing through the moment like the lightning streaking through the clouds. I know what you've been going through. It isn't to your fault. You were never alone. The shock around the room deepened. Everyone leaned in, eager for more, desperate to understand the connection. But why now? Why in front of everyone when they were trying to heal? When I lost my family, Charlie continued, his eyes glossy but resolute, you were the one who found me. You took me in when no one else would. I owe you this. His voice cracked, revealing a deep well of emotion buried beneath the surface. Tension tinged the moment with urgency. Mr. Thompson's hands shook as he reached out to Charlie. I didn't know you were still here. I am, he interrupted, the corners of his mouth lifting slightly in a weary smile. Alive. Still looking out for each other, even after all these years. Marie felt a swell of emotion rise up inside her. She had spent so long thinking her family's past was a solitary struggle, but here stood a man tethered to her father's history, a living testament to connections that defied time and space. This is incredible, she murmured to herself, but the words fell into the quiet that had once again settled over the room. Jonathan watched, pondering the odd twist of fate. He felt a strange bond with the ragged elder, each story intertwining with his own experience of loss and longing. What brought you here, Charlie? He asked. What do you know? Before Charlie could answer, thunder rumbled overhead, a raw reminder of nature's unpredictable temperament. It felt like a warning. The crack of lightning illuminated Maria's face, highlighting her realization that answers would demand more than simple words. And then, amidst the sound of rain pounding against the roof, a new voice called out, this time from the back of the room, a teenager with a determined look in her eyes. "I remember you. Mr. Thompson's generosity saved my brother. He is still looking for family too. I thought you should know." Whispers roared back through the crowd. The air thickened with possibilities, a convergence of past, present, and future. This was no longer just a reunion, it was a reckoning. Echoes of long-buried secrets began to twist around every corner, and as Charlie opened his mouth to share the weight of his secrets, a gasp rushed through the crowd, leaving a chilling air of anticipation. What else lay hidden beneath the surface? And would these revelations bring healing, or would they tear apart the already fragile bridges forming between them? The air was charged with expectation, heavy with the stories clinging to every corner of the room. Charlie looked at Mr. Thompson, hesitating for just a moment as if he could feel the weight of time bearing down on him. The rain continued its relentless patter against the roof, a constant reminder of the storm raging outside and, it seemed, inside their hearts as well. "Charlie," Mr. Thompson urged gently, his voice a mix of encouragement and concern. "What happened? What do you need to share?" Everyone waited. The silence was palpable, broken only by the creaking floorboards beneath anxious feet. Marie felt her own heart race, caught between fear and hope. She wanted the secrets to spill out, needing that connection, to understand the depths of her father's past. With a trembling hand, Charlie fished a weather notebook from his pocket. It was dog-eared and stained, like fragments of a life lived in the shadows. This is everything," he said, glancing at the crowd gathered around him, their eyes filled with curiosity and compassion. "Every name, every connection I've been able to trace since that terrible day. It's not just my story. It's all of ours." The room buzzed with anticipation. Curious gazes turned toward the notebook. Charlie flipped it open, revealing pages filled with cramped cursive script. "It's about the people we lost, about families destroyed. There are names in here, people who are still searching, still hoping." He paused, his voice thick with emotion. "I've been helping wherever I can, trying to send them messages, to help them find one another." Marie caught Jonathan's gaze, seeing the same understanding reflected in his eyes. This wasn't merely about reconnections. It was about redemption. The losses they all felt bore countless names, connections that stretched thinner and thinner over time. "What do you mean?" A voice from the crowd broke through, a woman whose face was drawn with weariness. "What can we do? How can we find these people?" Charlie looked up, determination flickering anew in his gaze. "We find the lost together. We become the bridge to those who are scattered like dust. And I believe it might not be too late." Whispers filled the room again, a mixture of skepticism and cautious hope. But there was something more, an electrifying spark, a collective awareness that, perhaps for the first time, they weren't just victims of circumstance. Marie felt a rush of warmth fill her being, igniting a passion for the unlived journey their families could share. The thought that they could help someone find their missing pieces whispered sweetly in her mind. She stepped forward, her voice confident. "Let us do it. If we have a chance, if we can help even just one person, let us make it happen." Applause erupted, accompanied by murmurs of agreement. Mr. Thompson placed a proud hand on his daughter's shoulder. "That's the spirit, Marie. We've always been stronger together." As the group rallied around Charlie, he started explaining the names and connections he'd gathered. Each story they shared intertwined with their own histories, a fragile tapestry of human experience being woven before their very eyes. During the chaos of newfound determination, Charlie caught sight of a familiar name in his notebook, and his face paled. He flipped the pages hurriedly, fingers trembling. "Wait, there's someone here who fits that description. It can't be she was supposed to be gone." The room tensed again, curiosity and dread mingling in the air. Who was the name that could alter everything? As everyone leaned closer, the storm outside roared anew, seemingly echoing the stakes at hand. In that moment, they were standing on the brink of something monumental. With each heartbeat, they were closer to revelations that could transform their pain into purpose. But what other secrets were lurking, threatening to unveil deeper wounds or connections that could change everything once again. The storm outside mirrored the tumult churning within as they prepared to dig deeper into their collective past. Charlie's heart raced as he read the name again, willing it to transform into something less burdensome. Ella, the ink barely visible against the page. It was a name that sent shockwaves through his memory, his childhood friend, the one who had gone missing years ago. He remembered her laughter, the way the sunlight danced in her golden hair. Is she still alive? A voice broke through the tension. It was Marie, her wide eyes searching Charlie's face for a sign, but all he felt was the knot tightening in his throat. I don't know. His voice came out barely above a whisper. But if that's her, she could still be out there, waiting for us to find her. The weight of the room shifted. What had moments before felt like a collective strength now bore the frailty of uncertainty. They were at the edge of hope and fear, holding their breaths to see which would prevail. The storm outside paused momentarily, as if the universe itself was waiting for their next move. Let us take it one step at a time, Mr. Thompson advised, stepping forward. We need to make a plan. Whoever Ella is, whatever she means to you, we can't rush into this. We need to gather all the information we can. Yes, Marie echoed, urgency igniting her spirit. If we can figure out where she was last seen, we could start asking around. Maybe the community knows something. And then we must find those families connected to the names in Charlie's notebook. They might have clues. Together, Jonathan added, his voice steady amidst the whirlwind of emotions. We need to reach out to the community for support. They deserve to be part of this, just like all of us are. Exactly, Charlie nodded, feeling the warmth of their determination wrapping around him. They were charged with a newfound purpose, a simple act of reaching out, connecting. As they started sharing ideas and strategies, the winds outside picked up again, thrashing against the aging walls of the building like wild spirits. Within, however, a different energy surged. They were no longer just strangers bound by loss. They were a network of connection, threading hope back into their tainted narratives. Suddenly, someone from the back of the room stood up. I'm a teacher at the local school. Her voice rang out, proud and defiant against the storm. We have a bulletin board. We can put up missing persons flyers, not just for people like Ella but for anyone we want to help find. I can mobilize my students to help. Her enthusiasm sparked a fire in the group. Let us do it. They shouted together, laughter mingling with anticipation, rejecting the somberness that had permeated before. Plans took shape, voices melded into agreements, and they fueled each other's hopes with infectious energy. They talked late into the night, brainstorming, sharing memories, and building a bridge for the community to stand on. As the clock shadowed toward midnight, Charlie felt a nervous excitement bubbling in his chest. They were on the edge of a breakthrough that could change everything. The storm had become a backdrop to their promise of finding lost pieces. But as he glanced back at his notebook, the shaky lines of handwritten names, another worry fluttered through him. What if uncovering Ella's truth led them to something darker? Charlie? Marie's voice pulled him from his thoughts. What if she's been through something horrible? Are we ready for that? The room quieted again, the laughter fading. Everyone felt the gravity of that question. They were no longer just reaching for something hopeful. They were also preparing to face the shadows that clung to lost souls. Just then, a loud crash of thunder echoed from outside, shaking the windows. It was a reminder of the fierce storm, and whatever lay within it. What would they find? Charlie took a deep breath, and it hit him this was more than just discovering the past. It was a journey toward healing, for every lost and found soul. We'll face it together, no matter what, he declared. But deep down, an unsettling thought lingered. If Ella wasn't just missing but had a story steeped in things better left hidden, would they still have the strength to keep searching? The answer hung in the air, precarious and heavy, just as the storm raged on outside. The atmosphere in the room had shifted like the winds outside. Charlie felt a mix of determination and dread clashing within him. The flickering lights above added to the tension, casting shadows that danced on the walls. The group's energy was palpable, their hope igniting as they prepared to take their first steps towards a mission that felt both daunting and incredibly vital. "All right, how do we want to divide tasks?" Mr. Thompson asked, breaking the silence. He looked at each member of the group, and Charlie saw that glint of leadership in his eyes. "We need to gather those flyers, set up the bulletin board, and also create a plan to talk to the families associated with the names in Charlie's notebook." Marie shifted in her seat, her enthusiasm unyielding. "I can start working on the flyer design. Simple yet powerful. We want to draw attention but show their essay's story behind each name. They're not just missing, they're loved and missed deeply." That was her gift, turning the fragile fabric of tragedy into something tangible that could reach the hearts of others. Charlie admired her strength as she jotted down ideas, her passion as vibrant as the words flowing from her pen. A chuckle rippled through the group when Jonathan spoke up, "And I can coordinate with the kids at the school. They'll be eager to help." He had a way of lightening the mood, and everyone nodded, enthusiasm building like the swelling clouds outside. But beneath it all, a question nagged at Charlie's mind. What did they actually know about Ella? The memories spiraled in his head: laughter, sunbeams, secrets shared under the vast blue sky. He wanted to believe she was out there, to find her again, but what if she had been through something unspeakable? As if echoing his uncertainty, the thunder rolled again, louder this time, rattling the windows. It set the mood, a perfect reflection of the storm brewing both outside and within Charlie. "Hey," Marie's voice pulled him back. "You're awfully quiet. What's going on in that head of yours?" "Just thinking," he hesitated, glancing at the names in his notebook once more. "What if they've all been through trauma? What if finding Ella means uncovering something dark?" The group fell silent. Realizations washed over them like rain, but with every drop came the understanding of their mission's weight. "It's scary, yes," Mr. Thompson said, his voice now softer, more thoughtful. "Confronting those shadows can be terrifying. But we owe it to every single one of them to seek the truth. To bring them home." A shiver ran down Charlie's spine, yet he nodded. They weren't just trying to find Ella, they were striving to understand what had truly happened. And that could mean confronting their own demons too. As they moved on to finalizing the details, the power flickered. For a moment, the room plunged into darkness. Faces became shadows, and murmurs of surprise were hushed by the roiling thunder outside. Charlie's heart thumped harder against his chest. What if this was a sign? A foreboding of the challenges ahead? The darkness enveloped them, and just as quickly as it had submerged the room, the lights returned. Faces lit up once more, but the atmosphere felt charged, as if something had shifted forever. "Let us not be deterred by a little storm," Jonathan suggested, lightening the air again. "It's just a warm-up for the real storm we're about to face." The laughter returned slowly, yet deep inside, all felt the tug of uncertainty. Charlie walked over to the window, gazing out into the storm. The rain was relentless, cascading down the glass like a waterfall. "Together," he whispered, almost to himself. "We'll figure it out together." But his heart still ached with foreboding. They were bound together in this mission, yet what awaited them could either bring them closer or tear them apart. Just then, the faintest sound reached their ears, a faint, weak cry outside, barely audible over the din of the storm. "Did you hear that?" Marie's voice cut through the chatter, her expression turning serious. Charlie's heart dropped. They might uncover not just Ella's story, but many more than they'd bargained for. What lay hidden beneath the surface of the storm? Charlie's heart raced as he turned back towards the group. The shy whispers faded into the background, replaced by the urgency in his own heartbeat. "What was that?" he asked, his voice barely above a whisper. The storm outside seemed to grow louder, yet that soft cry felt more potent. Mr. Thompson wasted no time. "We should check it out. It could be someone in trouble." With quick nods of agreement, the group gathered their courage and headed for the door. Each step felt heavier than the last, as if the weight of the storm pressed down on their shoulders. Outside, the air was thick with raindrops. The world blurred into a wash of gray. Lightning lit up the sky, revealing hazy outlines of trees and houses. but nothing could be seen clearly. Still, they pressed on, scanning the ground. Over there. Jonathan pointed toward a shadow huddled in the corner of a nearby alley. The group rushed over, hearts pounding, fear racing through their veins. As they approached, Charlie could make out a figure, a small, soaked shape curled tightly against the wall. Are you okay? Marie bent down, her voice soft and soothing. Slowly, the figure turned to reveal the face of an elderly man. His skin was wrinkled and his eyes wide, filled with both fear and confusion. I got lost in the storm, he stammered, shivering against the cold. I thought I could find my way home. Charlie felt a rush of empathy. It's all right, sir. We're here to help. He took off his jacket and wrapped it around the man's shoulders, offering warmth. The old man's eyes glistened with gratitude. Who are you? He murmured, his voice tremulous yet steady as he looked up at them. We're friends, Mr. Thompson replied quickly, scanning the area for any other dangers. Why don't you tell us your name? Henry, the man whispered. Henry Davis. My wife, she'll be worried sick. Charlie's chest tightened. We'll help you get home, Henry. Just tell us where. But as the elderly man began to speak, thunder rumbled ominously overhead. The storm felt alive, swirling around them. Henry's gaze darted nervously in every direction, and for a moment, Charlie almost felt the chaos of the storm closing in on them. Charlie! Look! Marie suddenly cried out, pointing to the depths of the alley. There, under a pile of debris, something glinted against the rain-soaked pavement. Stay back, Mr. Thompson warned. We don't know what it is. But curiosity propelled Charlie forward. He stepped around the elderly man and knelt down. His fingers brushed against the cold metal the edge of a silver locket half buried in the muck. Carefully, he pulled it free, cleaning it off with his wet sleeve. The intricate design caught the weak glow of the streetlight. Is this yours, Henry? He asked, his heart racing at the possibility. No. I don't recognize it. Henry's voice trembled with fear, as if the locket held secrets beyond their understanding. Charlie studied the locket, feeling the weight of the moment. Every person interviewed, every flyer made, could very well lead them to more than they had bargained for. Maybe it will lead us to new answers, he thought aloud, as he held the locket loosely in trembling hands, curiosity battling with unease. But just then, a flash of lightning illuminated the alley, and an eerie rustling echoed behind them. The group turned abruptly, eyes wide, as a shadow moved in the storm. Who's there? Charlie shouted, his voice trembling slightly. As the darkness shifted, several shapes began to emerge through the rain. His stomach dropped. They were not alone anymore. What if these newcomers were seeking the very truths they feared? And then, in that storm, the search for Ella and all those lost would take a turn deeper than they had imagined. Stay alert, Mr. Thompson commanded, as Charlie gripped the locket tighter. What once felt like a desperate mission to find hope now seemed to open the door to entirely new, unforeseen dangers. What awaited them, cloaked in the storm, was just beginning to reveal itself. Charlie's heart raced as the silhouettes grew clearer. The first figure stepped into the weak light, revealing a young woman, drenched and shivering. Behind her loomed two men, their faces obscured, their intentions unreadable. Who are you? Charlie yelled again, his voice stronger this time as he kept the locket hidden in his palm, a strange sense of protection taking hold. The woman raised her hands, palms out. Please, we mean no harm. We're just trying to find shelter. Mr. Thompson stepped forward, shielding Henry with his own body. You need to leave. There's nothing for you here. The rain lashed against them, drowning out the tension. The woman's desperation flickered in her eyes. But we saw the lights from your building. We thought maybe you could help us. Help? How can we trust you? Jonathan chimed in, stepping closer to Charlie. Fear clung to them like the rain, creating a palpable tension. We're from the neighborhood. My name is Lily, she said softly, glancing back at her companions. This is Marcus and Jake. We got separated from our friends when the storm hit. We just want to get somewhere safe. Charlie exchanged a glance with Marie. There was something in Lily's eyes, a flicker of sincerity mixed with raw vulnerability. The locket in his hand felt heavy again, as if it too held secrets. Maybe this was a moment where trust could bloom, despite the unpredictable chaos of the storm. "This locket," Charlie said quietly, lifting it slightly. "I found it under the debris. Do you recognize it?" The atmosphere thickened as they all focused on the locket. Lily gasped, her breath hitching with astonishment. "I do. It belonged to my sister." Charlie's heart sank. "Your sister?" "Yes," she replied, stepping closer, her hands shaking. "She went missing months ago. I thought I'd never see her again." "Wait," Jake interjected, his context shifting as he caught the locket's glimmer too. "You're sure? This might be a clue." Henry suddenly flinched, eyes darting between the locket and the faces surrounding him. That's impossible," he murmured. "My wife had a locket like that. She was gone before." It felt as if the world had shifted with a single statement. Questions hung thick in the air like the rain. The storm outside began to feel less frightening than the mystery unfolding before them. "What if there's a connection?" Marie whispered, her voice cracking with emotion. "What if these are linked? We could help each other?" Before they could digest this, the shadows shifted again as a chilling breeze swept through the alley. Charlie's instincts flared. They had to take care of Henry, yes, but now they had a greater puzzle to solve. "Let us find shelter first, then we can figure this out together," Mr. Thompson commanded, turning toward the building. "Lily, you and your friends can come with us for now." Relief washed over Lily's face, but fear still lurked in her eyes. The group reluctantly turned toward the warmth of the building. Just as they did, Charlie felt a pull at his heart. The locket had opened a door, but what lay behind it could carry them down a much darker path. "Let us move quickly," Mr. Thompson said, leading the way, uncertainty rippling through the air. Charlie could feel the intensity of the combined mystery binding them as tightly as the rain, and then, from somewhere deeper in the shadows, an ominous voice cut through the night. "You should have left it alone." The storm howled louder, as if nature itself were echoing the warning. What had they tripped into, and would they be able to navigate the storm, both outside and within? As the group hurried inside, a tangle of questions filled Charlie's mind. More than just lost people were at stake now. What awaited them inside that building could change everything. As they rushed inside the community center, the air felt electric with a mixture of uncertainty and urgency. The storm outside continued to rage, but within these walls, a different kind of storm was brewing, a whirlwind of emotions, secrets, and the promise of healing. Henry huddled close to Mr. Thompson, a fragile connection forming in shared vulnerability. Lily stepped forward, eager to take charge. "Let us get everyone some blankets and dry clothes. We can't let them freeze." Her determination ignited a spark of hope. "Thank you," Lily said to the newcomers, her voice softening. "Tell us more about your sister. We might know something that can help." The young woman, still visibly shaken, nodded. "Her name was Rachel. She disappeared several months ago during a storm just like this." Her eyes flared with memory, a mixture of grief and urgency pulling her closer to the truth. Charlie felt the locket grow heavier in his pocket. It was a weight he now understood. These connections, these stories, were nothing to be trifled with. As the group settled into the center, Charlie leaned against the counter, drowning in the hum of voices eager to exchange stories. Mr. Thompson spoke with Henry, sharing comforting words while Marie animatedly took charge, organizing the group and getting hot tea brewing. Then, amid the comfort and chaos, a quiet voice called out. "We didn't just get lost in the storm that night," Jake said, cautiously drawing the group's attention. "We were fleeing something. Something dangerous." The weight of his words hung like an anchor in the room. Lily's eyes widened, filled with concern. "What do you mean?" "It sounds crazy, but we witnessed something, a deal gone wrong. Someone caught in the middle." Jake glanced at Lily, his voice trembling. "That's why we were separated. The storm just made everything worse." A chill ran through the air. The sense of danger loomed near. Charlie exchanged solemn looks with Mr. Thompson. "We can't ignore this," he said. "We need to find out what happened, but it also means facing the truth about the past. His grip tightened around the locket hidden in his pocket. Maybe Rachel's story connects to Henry's wife's fate. A gasp rippled through the room. Lily nodded fiercely, determination flooding her voice. Then let's south explore every avenue. Together. We owe it to them, to ourselves. Bracing for action, they huddled in a tight circle. The urgency of their circumstances mirrored the storm rattling against the windows. With faces lit by the flickering bulbs, they formed a plan, eager to dive into the tangled web of their intertwined stories. Henry had not felt hope in years, and it stirred inside him now something sweet and terrifying. Whatever happened back then, whoever was involved, we need to face it head-on, he said, his voice firm. For the first time in ages, Mr. Thompson felt the warmth of belonging, the weight of family knitting itself back together around the table. We'll work together, he vowed. Whatever it takes. The rain continued its relentless dance outside, but inside, there was newfound clarity. They were not lost. They were finding their way home to one another. Then the lights flickered, casting shadows across the room. What was that? Lily asked, anxiety creeping back. Charlie held the locket tightly, feeling its pulse against the chaos of their hearts. Whatever awaits us outside, we can face it. We're united in this, he said as he looked around at everyone's faces. Before they could prepare for the next step, thunder rumbled ominously overhead, the sound and echo of the secrets yet to be revealed. But there was strength in unity. Together they echoed, voices entwined, drowning out the storm. In their hearts, a fire burned brighter than the night, sparking the beginnings of a new legend. They would find Rachel, uncover the truth, and rewrite the stories of loss they had carried for far too long. As they burst through the doors, standing against the rain, they knew they were ready. Whatever darkness lay ahead, they would face it together, no longer just a group of strangers but a family bound by hope. The storm could howl, but they would rise. The journey was far from over, yet they moved forward, step by step, revealing depth and resilience in their newfound courage. The community center was no longer just a shelter. It was a beacon lighting their way home. You need to subscribe now to catch the next chapter of this incredible journey. Don't wait not even one more second. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and help spread this inspiring story. Share your thoughts in the comments below. How do you feel about this emotional transformation? And please share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who are in need of a heartwarming tale of hope and unity. This is the moment to show your support. Join our community today.